All right. This is removal of the original radio. I'm going to be installing an Apple CarPlay radio. I'm going to show you how to take the OEM radio out first. It's going to be 2 screws towards the top. You want to go ahead, find them. I personally like the stubby screwdrivers for this, because trying to get a full-size screwdriver in there is a little bit annoying. Take those 2 screws out and then grab the top. Use your thumbs on both sides here. Kind of one nice little jerky motion. Take it off. Put it to the side now. There's 2 screws right here. Bada bing, bada boom. And then for this part, see if I can show you. It's kind of hard to see, but like right, where is it? Here's 1 screw, and the other one's right here. There's those 2 screws that you want to get out. I like to take them all the way out with my hands so I don't lose them inside the car somewhere. So once you get them pretty loose, just go ahead and reach on in there with your hand. Pull it the rest of the way out. And then come back up here, kind of pull on both sides. And then mine pops right out because I've done this a few times to make sure I had all the right parts. Then you kind of got to tilt it at an angle. Lift up, tilt. There you go. Then you have this one right here, which is for your hazard light. There's a better angle. And then you have this one down here, which is for your climate control. Then you have these ones, which is your antenna, and then your 3 radio plugs. This one, you're gonna have to push a little tab right here downwards, push up with your thumb, pull up. So that's the removal. And then I'm about to go inside, wire up the new radio to the harness, and I'll come back out and install it. All right, so like I said, in the car, we're gonna be installing an Android Auto Apple CarPlay radio. This is it right here. It's a dual brand, not the most expensive, but from my budget, I was quoted $600 to have a professional do this when I bought all this stuff for maybe $360 total. Because of Capital One shopping, I got stuff a lot cheaper. But either way, here's the radio. Got the face piece, got the steering wheel control, which is important if your car has steering wheel control. Got an antenna adapter. The steering wheel control is a straight plug and play. The only wire that I have to hardwire into the car is this one for the call, pick up, and hang up on the steering wheel. But other than that, it's a simple plug and play. I could cut that one wire, take this whole system out, and sell it to somebody with the exact same Honda, and they could plug it in right away and run it. So it's gonna be a little clippy because I can't hold the phone and work at the same time. So the first step I'm gonna do is transfer the vents, the AC, and the hazard button onto the new plastic, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks. All right, So I'm back. I switched everything over that needed to be switched over, and I got lucky. Mine's one of the good ones where the fitment's pretty good. You know, everything looks crispy. And then so when replacing it, this is what I recommend. There's 4 screws for the AC. Do diagonal first. Don't put them in all the way. Put the other 2 and then tighten down in a diagonal pattern to get it to sit right. For the bottom piece, do the middle first to work your way outward and then tighten down. Like this one's only 2 and this one's 3, but either way, do some type of pattern so you equally apply pressure, and don't screw it all the way down first. Put all the screws in, put them about halfway, then adjust it, make sure it's where you want, and when you're screwing it down, like the screws are right here, apply pressure on the backside so that you don't accidentally break this, because to me, this is the most important step. That's why I didn't really want to film it. I don't want to break this trim piece, you know? Yeah, it's only like 20 bucks, I think, but to have to wait for this, if I crack it, would annoy the heck out of me, because I'm not, you know, I want to get this installed today. I don't want to take my time and have to order a new one. I just want to do it right the first time. So just be careful with it, because it is pretty flimsy, you know, it's plastic. But other than that, on to the next part where I wire up the wires. All right, so wiring time. This radio system came with this. If you don't have the stock amplified system, it tells you cut those off, use your wires. So here are the wires. I'm gonna use the diagram, match what needs to be matched with what. But the one thing I want to show you, when it comes to doing these wires, don't get you one of these crimpers. You know, it's like you can crimp like this, but you see, like, it's poopy. So they want you to crimp it like this with this part, and you just squeeze it as hard as you can. If you see, like, it's still open, get you crimpers like this where it has a little, like a circle and a little bar. You put it in there, line it up, and when you crimp it, it literally puts it in there, and look at that, like, it's closed, there ain't no opening it. Spend the time, get the right crimper, it'll save your life in the long run. But from here, I'm gonna actually try and record this. If I don't like how it comes out, I'm honestly not gonna lie, I'm just gonna cut it out the video. But start with, I've got red or orange or whatever they want to say this is. Red, accessory output. Okay. And I'm gonna come over here. Ignition accessory, 12 volt. Pop that off. Give it a little bit of a twisty twist. This doesn't need to be that long, so I'm gonna trim mine a little bit. Come over here. It says about 1/4 of an inch is all you need to strip. Make sure it's in there as far as it needs to be. Put on your crimper and crimp away. Make sure it's good. Come over here. Make sure it's in enough. Crimp away. All right, see, that's how you connect your wires. From this point, I'm gonna do the rest. You get the idea, you see how it crimps, give it a good pull, like, that shit ain't coming apart. Match the colors based on your diagrams. Each radio is gonna be a little bit different, and I'll be back with you in a minute. All right, it took a while, so I took my time, and then I had to take a few breaks because hunching over a table hurts my back, but we're all wired up, except for the one that needs to go to the steering wheel, which I will show you how to do. Dual is nice enough to include a wire made specifically for powering your power antenna, so you don't have to splice with another 12 volt. So that's really nice with Dual. But now I'm gonna hit this with some friction tape and make it look nice. and I'll show you what that looks like when we're done and everything's all mocked up. All right, so I was gonna update once everything was on, but when I make a mistake, I like to be vocal about it. I took the AC vent off because what I did is I set the radio in flat, you know, flush with the thing, and then I put these on, mounted them to that, so they still play, but now I'm gonna put the screws in this so it sits flush, not put these on outside and then put it in and then hope it sits flush. So I took this out so that I can actually access where I put screws. You can take this one out as well. You know, maybe you need to, maybe you don't. Depends on where the screw holes for your specific radio line up. But just let y'all know, yes, that's a mistake I made. You may want to do it differently. But while I have recording, here's my harness all tied up. We have our steering wheel control side. We have our antenna. We have 2 plugs for that. And the actual radio. I'll show you in a minute. All right, so this is how it looks. Everything plugged in. These 2 go into the car along with the antenna plug right here. Bam, that plugs into the car. That one I hardwired to the car, got the antenna plugged in. This is the steering wheel control. This is how it looks when it's all plugged in. And then this one, it's right here. Some radios, it's on the actual radio. The steering wheel control is plugged in, that gets plugged in. This spot is for, I believe what these are called, pre-outs. Also for if you want to run a aftermarket camera. My car has a built-in screen with another camera, so I should be good and not have to use these until I install a subwoofer, which is why I left this little wire out. This is what they call a, I forget off the top of my head, honestly, but it's a 6-signal wire. Yeah, it's a signal wire for the amp when you run a sub. And then I got the mic that I need to wire up. That just goes in there. This, I'll find a spot in the car and probably show you in a different video, because I'm going to break this up into a few parts to make it easier and for my editing, because I don't really do this type of stuff. But from the videos I've seen on YouTube of people installing these systems, they do miss certain aspects of it. So I was like, you know, I'll put another one out there and let people see. So I'm finna go throw this in the car right now and I'll catch you there. All right, for this part, I wasn't able to record it because it was a little tricky, but so you turn your steering wheel and there'll be a screw there, but you have to put a little flathead in and pop this up. And then once you pop it, there's a screw, turn, there's another screw right there. And then there's a screw right there, and then that pops off. And then here you have your pins for the steering wheel control that you have to wire in manually. So I'm gonna look up which pin it is and I'll be back in a minute. All right, so this part's gonna be a little bit hard to record and do, but basically I'm gonna put this in the opposite of how I took it out. These 2 connections go to these 2. Here's your antenna. These go to the hazard and the other thing. And then as for that other stuff, I will come back and show you in a minute. Yeah, there was definitely no way I would have been able to record that. So I got it in. I have this hanging out for the process of programming it, where you press this button on the side along with your steering wheel buttons itself to program it. This thing actually came in handy because it's the perfect size to hit the programmer switch. I fed the little USB guy down. I could run it all the way out here, or I could just run it out there. That I'm not too worried about how I'm going to run it. I'll worry about that later. I got the little microphone guy that I'm going to run down and up somewhere, you know, for microphone. And then this guy I'm going to tuck down through here, which I may be able to actually record me doing. So let's see. Oh, okay. Sorry, camera came off for a second. I may cut that, but as you see, and then pull it tight. Now I'm gonna tuck it up and splice it into this, which I'm about to look up what to splice, and I'll be back. All right, so got it spliced in there. They sell splicers. I just double crimped it. It's gonna be pin 3 or the blue one for the Honda Civics. So pin 3 and or the blue wire, so you know. All right, so I can't really show you Apple CarPlay just yet, but it does work. I plugged my phone in, worked perfectly fine. Everything on the radio itself works. Like, let's do like, and then my steering wheel buttons, I need to program them. Like you see, some are working, but I have to program the rest of them properly. But either way, they do work. This is the one that I wired in, so I know I wired it in right. Hazards still work, AC still works. And then cool thing is I have this up here. I lose the audio function up there, and I may even lose the ability to set time, but still my car goes into reverse. This, I have it wired up here, which I didn't even think about. So I may get rid of that wire because reverse is gonna show up there, not up here. So I'll get rid of the reverse wire on that and it won't even interrupt that at all. But either way, it's a complete install. For this, just tuck it up, put everything back the same way. It's not the best video, but hopefully somebody will find it useful. Peace out. All right, so last video. I originally used these little metal things that came with the stock one, or the aftermarket, but now I put on the stock clips because mine wasn't grabbing the top. And if you look at them, the placement of where the little hook type majigger thing is a little bit different. So I switched to the stock ones. Other than that, everything's gone nice, it's gone crispy. And then down here, I decided to zip tie the USB because mine came with the built-in USB. If yours doesn't, you can use the whole length of this. And I got a flush mounted USB. I had to put it in sideways because I didn't measure it right. So when I put it inside or perpendicular, one of those ways, it would pop out. So I put it going up and down and it snapped in there just fine. So there's a little bit of a void here, but I can easily fix that with like a piece of black cardboard that I cut out. Not too worried about it. Either way, works. I have a flush mounted USB for my Apple CarPlay and everything works really nice on this radio now. So I'm gonna push her in and give you the final look. Just like that, we're all buttoned up. Apple CarPlay is working. We've got our flush mounted USB. Up here it still retains this screen. Right now it's showing low fuel. I click it, I still am able to show my picture and my miles per gallon. And then if I put the car in reverse, still has my factory backup camera. So that's it, Apple CarPlay install.